All right, awesome guys. Welcome back to Time for Christ. It's all good if I tell your position, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm with our dean of students here at St. Mary's, and he kind of just gave us I'm a junior, and he kind of sat us down with juniors and sophomores, and he kind of told us a little bit of story, and I thought it was a great opportunity for you guys to hear it because this topic about just losing hope and just overall kind of being in a dark place isn't talked about enough, right? And it's something that I wanted to talk about for a long time, and I just couldn't never really put it into words. So hopefully maybe you can you're definitely a wiser guy than me. Definitely can
Been around longer.
been around longer and
Sure.
overall just you seem like a morally just in tune guy. So
I appreciate that.
just if you wherever you want to start, just
Well, yeah. So my talk with the kids, and I've done this a bunch of times now, so where I got into a darker place, I had my dream job at my my hometown in Menasha, Wisconsin. So we're in Neenah, Wisconsin now. It was my high school I went to, and I was able to teach there. I'm a basketball coach, and so my dream was to coach there.
Right.
And so, and when I got there, it was 2000. I was on top of the world. I had everything I wanted. I was teaching there. I was doing well as a teacher, doing well as a coach. But then as time went on, I thought I could turn the program around there that wasn't doing so well, but it just wasn't happening. And so basketball wise, things weren't going well. My marriage wasn't going well, so I had that going on. And so I started looking internally on how, as a person, I thought I was unsuccessful. Didn't know I was dealing with depression and some mental issues, and so things just kept building and building and building and building until I was in this dark place that I thought I was the worst teacher. I was the worst husband. Didn't feel I was a good father. I wasn't a good friend. I became a bad person. I look back at those times, I just was not a good person at all. I had parents that of the basketball program, they were trying to get me fired. Right. So in 2009, it was awful.
Right.
And as I told your class, I just thought the only way to get out of that was to commit suicide, and had a plan in place to take sleeping pills, and as I always say, I was at a volleyball match of my nieces and remember looking at the clock thinking it'll be 45 minutes and I'll be out of this. And I look back at that now and think, wow, how can you be in that spot? And it just was the feeling of there was no hope, no way to get out, no one to talk to. Went home and was ready to I had the pills in my hand, a soda in my other hand, and our dog jumped up and put her head on my chest. And as I like to say, I believe that's the Holy Spirit telling me that wasn't what I should be doing.
Right.
And that's why I'm here today. So the dog is no longer around, but Buffy saved my life that day. And then what I would tell you is, what I found is that there are so many people that are willing to be there for you. For sure, your family, my friends, my colleagues. And when I went and started to get the help I needed, there are professionals that are there for you. And now, 15 years later, I'm probably as happy and healthy as I've been in my lifetime. And now I have a little, as you said, wisdom. So I've lived through some things, and I want to make sure by doing things like this that if someone else is in a spot I was in, maybe they would hear this and say, look, I got to talk to someone. Because that's why I tell it here at a school, and it's been successful because now you come in and it's helped you to spread the word. I've had students come in and say, hey, I'm in a tough spot. I need to talk to you about that. It's opened those doors.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to do, because I would have never thought that a human being could feel like I felt.
Right.
I always thought you could try harder, do it. And then I got to a point where and I was a coach, and I just thought, I can't. There's no more. So,
Right.
So, that was, and so there's, if you're in a place or you know someone that's in that place, you got to get them to some help, because you can get out of it, and you can become successful and happy in that.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. It's crazy, because like a lot of people think that, and like I'm fortunate enough where I come in a situation where I'm not really in that, like, I like that negative mindset about like myself. Like, I'm extremely fortunate, but as I like, branch out, like especially like on like an online like it's so common for people, like suicide rates are extremely up, especially like in the youth, like, because I know social media, all that stuff. And like, do you have anything personally just to say to like youth, because I feel like the youth is feeling disconnected now because of like how do you think they should manage that? Like,
yeah, that's a pretty truthful statement. I would say that one is, if like you guys communicate, I mean, as students, you guys are pretty close. You're with. I mean, the key for kids is you connect with other kids. Most people do. So if you see signs of that in a friend, or they make a comment about maybe wanting to harm themselves, or that those things are happening, then you should try to contact someone that you trust that can look into it for you, because we sometimes, like, we might get information and we're mandatory reporters, so we have to look into it, and it may turn out to be nothing, but I'd rather have it be nothing than
something.
The next day you find out that, oh my gosh, I knew about that. Someone told me about that. I could have checked on that. So a lot of times you feel like, well, I don't want to pry into your business, but I'd rather have you mad at me for that and I would tell you from experience, if you talk with someone, they're gonna be very appreciative of you asking or talking to me, even if there's nothing going on. So if friends or your family, you should try to help them. Either find someone or try to get them to get the help they need. If you are someone that's going through that, then try to, if you can't yourself go to someone, ask a friend to go to someone. I did have in a school, I had it wasn't this school, but I had a person ask their friend to come and talk to me. Yeah. And then, because they were a little nervous and shy, and some people are embarrassed, that's kind of why you're doing this. You shouldn't be embarrassed by that.
You shouldn't be at all. No.
Like depression and some of those things are a chemical imbalance that you have zero control over.
Right.
And so when you get some of the help with that, I mean, your whole life will change around. And so just finding the resources and there's so many people that want to help you. And like you said, just by me doing this talk, I bet you every time I do that to a group, I get a handful of kids that come in to talk about it. Not that they're ready to commit suicide or anything, they just want to talk about it.
Yeah, they feel open.
Yeah, and so it's helping break down some barriers, and that's why you're doing this. It shouldn't be a problem to say, I need some help with that.
You're right.
It's not a weakness. It's not, used to be, I'm a lot older than you. Used to be, if you went to a psychologist or a therapist or something, it meant a sign of weakness, or why would you do that? It's like, but it's not. It's really a sign of strength that says, I need some help. And so it's probably a long-winded answer, but you reach out and find someone that can help you or help someone else is huge.
So, sadly, it still probably is. Like going out to like reach for some help. Like I think a lot of people that I know, just like they'll kind of say something. Like I'm talking to this person. Doesn't go to the school. But she just kind of like tells me something, and then just kind of just like backs off. It sets this like barrier, and I think it's okay to like just break down those barriers and just trust like another human. I think that's like a huge part of like why we're on the earth, is just to like be there for other people. And so
yeah, and I think in our world today, where like you were talking about social media, the social media a lot of times is a complete opposite of that. Where we want to run everybody down, we want to find a way to make fun of them, we want to find a way to get more clicks or whatever else. And it's the complete opposite of what you're saying, what we should be doing with that. I also would say, like, if your friend is like reaching out to you a little bit, they're asking you, they don't maybe know they're doing that, but they're sometimes they're just subconsciously trying to get the help they want. So that's why, and you're obviously, I would think you're probably trying to help this person.
Oh yeah.
And so like when students come in here and they'll say some things, well, yeah, they're trying to find it, or they may make an offhanded comment about this or that. Well, they're trying to get someone to help.
Yeah.
And sometimes in my role as dean of students, they actually might not behave well in school, and well, that's the cry for help, because they're going to get in trouble. They're not doing it on purpose. I know they're not saying, I'm going to go break this window because I need help with my anxiety.
Right.
But that might be subconsciously why they're doing that, and that's what we have to try to see that too. So anything to get information out to people you said breaking down those walls is important.
Or, do you have any like closing statements? Just keep it like any closing statement, like how can like just anyone help another person out? Just like how do you become available to some, like a complete stranger? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. I just had another teacher ask me that, because they are aware of how what I've talking to you has done for people. I think you just have to be genuine. I think you guys, I think you're here because I wasn't fake. I was being truthful.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
And so, if you are just you, and you approach someone and say, look, I'm really concerned about you. I'm worried about what you told me. I'm sorry, but I have to tell someone about that. They're going to be okay with that. You're not going to lose friends over help, trying to help. You're not going to have someone attack you for that. Maybe I would be wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong on that. I've talked to people, and when they come in and tell me, I say to them, I'm going to have to contact your parents. I'm going to have to. They get that your people in your life are going to get that if you're genuine, caring, and trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And don't be afraid to do that, because like we said before, the worst thing that would happen is the next day you woke up and you found out that person harmed themselves, and you had a chance to do something. And always err on the side of caution, and don't hope it's going to go away, because it's not going to. And so try to get them the help they need, and so they can be a productive person and find happiness, because they're probably not at this point.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, just reading in between the lines, I think that's what, as a teenager, like that's something like we gotta do better, just like in general, because like I remember in like middle school, like I haven't like noticed it in high school, but in middle school people would wear long sleeves, and then they would like show like the cuts on the wrist
and stuff,
and it would just be like, they would play it off as like a punchline, and like once, like as a teenager, they'll be like, hey, they're kind of laughing it off, maybe like it's not that big of a deal. It's, even though like obviously it clearly is, like just like reading in between those lines, not reacting how they're reacting, like I have depression, like no, like genuinely just like being there for someone and just taking it seriously. I think that's like a main thing, like the youth has to do, because
and youth and adults don't. I don't think we always realize that everybody's dealing with something every day. It might not, you have a basketball game tonight, so you might be nervous today, but you still have to deal with that today.
Right.
And then someone might have something going on in family issues, but everyone's got something going on today, and we just got to realize that and be empathetic. And that's kind of what you're saying too, is know that everybody's in it together.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have.
Awesome.
I mean,
Thanks.
Anything else?
No, I'm glad we could get together.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for watching.
Cool. You got to show me where I find that. I'd like to see your other ones.
Oh yeah.